Scientists generally agree that no theory is 100% correct. Yes, you heard it right. As much as we believe that every theory is proven, it's not 100% correct. Thus, the real test of knowledge is not truth, but utility. So today we're going to talk about something called mental models and how it affects us in the way we think or the way we make decisions. The best mental models are the ones with maximum utility in your day-to-day life. It will help you to develop a broader thinking, and the way you look at things will be completely different. And that is the power of mental models. And that is the reason why developing a broad knowledge of mental models will help you to think rationally, effectively, and unconventionally. For that reason, let us find out how exactly mental models can help us. Without any further ado, let's get into the topic. Hello everyone, this is Kapil Reddy, founder and CEO of Zooperly. Today, as I told, the topic we're going to talk briefly about is nothing but mental models. How many of you have heard about mental models? And how many of you know that it actually affects the way you think and the way you look at things? Before we discuss all that, why don't we understand what is the definition of a mental model? A mental model is an explanation of how something works. It's nothing but an overarching term of any concept or a framework, or it can be anything that we use in our day-to-day life. Mental models will actually help you understand life. For example, supply and demand can help you understand the mental model of how economy works. Game theory is a mental model that helps you understand how relationships and trust work. Entropy is a mental model that helps you understand how disorder and decay work. Like this, the examples can go on. So the whole point is, mental models guide you on your perception and behavior. They are thinking tools that help you understand life, way something works, and how you can move forward. The funny fact is, mental models are imperfect, but they can be a useful resource to begin with. There's no single mental model concept in any subject that gives 100% explanation of how universe works. But they can be a good starting point from where you can develop your thesis. Before we go a little deeper into mental models, let us understand certain things about how cognitive biases can actually affect the way we think. Cognitive biases are actually fault in our thinking. They can easily tell us where we tend to make mistakes and help us to potentially avoid those pitfalls. And that is how cognitive biases can actually help us. Learning about cognitive biases might not give you all the answers, but they nudge you in the right direction. If cognitive biases help you steer in the right direction, mental models will help you accelerate in that direction. And that is the power of mental models. So how do mental models help you? Mental models broadly help in two things. They help you assess how things work, and they help you how to make better decisions. And most importantly, the decisions we make are the indicators of our long-term success. So let us get better at the way we make decisions, and that can impact our long-term success. If you don't follow mental models, you can probably falter in two things. One is, you follow your current momentum wherever it leads you. Second thing is, you rely on your instincts, which have been molded by your past actions or what all things you've performed and what all things you learned in the past, which is still a good thing compared to just blindly following with the momentum that is happening. But how can we make this even more effective? That's where mental models can come in. Every machine and process is a system. When you actually understand and look at the world in a way that it's all a mix of several systems put together, your perspective will completely change. It makes more sense if you look at the world as patchwork of several systems put together. And if you start reverse engineering everything using mental models, that's when innovation can happen. That's when new thoughts will come in. A system is simply something that has several interdependencies. A mental model outlines its critical components and interactions. Just to recap on what we just said, as I told, mental models are a framework that can actually help you in going in the right direction. It'll set a path for you and it'll help you accelerate. And once you start reverse engineering everything using these mental models, the way you look at things will be super different, and that can be game changing for you. As I told, we are all a culmination of various things that have happened to us, the way we have experienced certain things, and what all we learned over a longer period of time. These mental models can help you change the perception and the way you look at things, and that's why your thinking can be super effective once you start understanding these mental models. So just to conclude, if you're still curious about mental models and how they can actually impact, try to understand some of the basic mental models like Pareto principle, which is nothing but the 80-20 rule. Once you start understanding everything around you, you see that 80-20 principle definitely holds its stand. Likewise, first principles thinking, which I think I've already discussed about it. Another thing is regret minimization model, which is again super effective, especially for those of you who are quite not sure about where to start or are like confused on, okay, do I have to take this step? For example, you set out to do something very ambitious and there are a lot of people who are like just discouraging you. So how can you overcome it? That's when this regret minimization principle can actually help you. So for more details, just go through it. And once you start applying these basic principles in your day-to-day life, you will see a significant difference. You will feel that you're much more clear and there's a lot more clarity in what you're trying to do. And that can be super effective. Because essentially it's all about controlling the chaos around us. Let's understand the fact that the world around us is super chaotic. Our lives are super chaotic. Our every day is going to be chaotic. All we got to do is make sure we manage the chaos. The one who can effectively manage chaos is somebody who will have a lot more peace and a lot more happiness. And that's what these mental models can actually help you with. As I told you earlier, mental models can help simplify complex things so that you can make a decision which can actually help you in the long term. And you are much more confident about the decision you have taken because there's a lot more clarity and thought behind it. And that is one reason why you'll be super comfortable doing something. So, a simple example, I think I briefly told about regret minimization, right? So in regret minimization, just see like what are you going to regret about? Let's say if you're taking this step, like you have a plan to do a marathon. Are you going to regret 10 years down the lane that you have never done a marathon? If yes, just go for it. So that is exactly what it can help you with. It will help you to make better decisions and something which you won't regret. Or if you feel that I don't think in 10 years time or even my entire life, I won't regret not taking a marathon, completely fine. So you won't have that confusion or dilemma anymore that should you go for this marathon or should you skip it. That is the power of mental models. And that's just one example. Like that, if I start listing out the number of mental models we have, the list can go on forever. So we'll start sharing more learning spaces around these mental models and more details on, we'll just handpick some of these mental models and we'll do more videos on them. So this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the topic. It's quite fascinating, to be honest. Like, why don't you just go a little deeper? Just Google search and you can find number of really good articles. Trust me, once you get into this world of mental models, you'll never go back to the way you are currently. And that's the power of it. Thank you so much. So that's it for today. And as usual, if you have liked the video, please do like, subscribe and share this. Most importantly, try to spread the word around in your network. As I told, the whole idea why we are doing these videos is what we felt is there's limited knowledge or limited exposure around some of the basic productivity and learning techniques that if we use on a daily basis can be super impactful. So we want to help more people get benefit out of it. I have definitely benefit out of it and people whom I've spoken to have benefit out of it. And we want to give that same benefit to millions of people outside. Yes, we are still at a very beginning stage, but with your support, with whatever help you can do for us, we can 100% try and spread the word around. And that's the whole intention why we are doing these videos. So as usual, if you have any feedback, please do share and we will try and work on it. Until then, have a great weekend and a great week ahead. Signing off. See you. Bye-bye.